coming up. Jessie Southwell scores as the Knights women secure their first victory against the Broncos. Meanwhile, South Newcastle's Newcastle Rugby League final season comes to an end, and Maitland through to the Newcastle and Hunter Rugby Union finals since 2019. That's up next here on NBN's local sports news. Good evening. My name's Conklin McLeod and welcome to NBN's local sports news. Tonight, it's the dream debut for Knights player Jessie Southwell, scoring her first try for a home club. Then after that, Stevens Daly scored to give the Knights their second try, which was up at McDonald Jones Stadium. Then Romy Teitzel scored one of her own for the season to give the Knights their third try. Then Taylor Predibon quickly scored for the Knights right up in the second half to give the home side an extended lead. Then Callum Johnson knew exactly what to do. Score a try of her own. Then Bobby Law scored the final try for the Knights to give them their first ever victory in the NRLW as the Knights won 32-14. And of course, Jessie Southwell was the only one to speak. It comes after her sister Hannah was forced off with an ACL injury, which has now ruled her out for the rest of the season.
And what do you think the season's going to hold? I'm really not sure. I hope we can go all the way, like any team does. But we're still a pretty young and undeveloped team. Not undeveloped, but pretty new to the whole comp. So whatever happens, it'll be the Newcastle way. So yeah, pretty excited for whatever's to come. Cool. And what was the highlight of the game for you? We're getting to run on with Hen. Yeah, that was probably my highlight. I've always dreamed of that. So yeah.
Also, for the very first time, the Knights women sang the team's victory song right up in the sheds. Then Knights fullback Tamika Upton described the win as an amazing feeling.
At one stage, they're going to come in this maximum contest, but what do you think you did well tonight to shut out the Broncos?
Yeah, we sort of let them back in there. We had a few errors, and they're always going to capitalise on that, which they did. But we held our nerve and completed our sets, and our forwards absolutely dominated. As you can tell, getting over the stripe a few times.
A lot of new faces in the team, it's been well documented. But do you think the work you put in the pre-season has led to tonight?
Yeah, definitely. It was good to finally get out with the girls. As I said, we haven't really played together yet, and we've been, in pre-season last 4 weeks, so it's finally good to get out there and put some of that in practice.
To week one of the finals of Newcastle Rugby League, and Macquarie will face Maitland in the semi-finals after after a 30-point win over Central. It was huge for Macquarie, who were too strong for their rivals right throughout the game. But Central are not giving up yet. They'll face Cessnock next week. And of course, Cessnock ended South Newcastle's finals dream.
He got there from dummy half. He trousered a lot of them.
Play in the game straight afterwards, and you'll see him do exactly
To the last round of AFL Hunter Central Coast, and the Cardiff Hawks have defeated Telgor Avoca in the women's competition with a huge victory. And of course, it means that the Hawks are now in the finals. Because of that, it was huge for the Hawks, who were just way too strong for their rivals right throughout the game.
Kick it out of danger. Looks like, is it Tolner over the top of the ball there? No, that's it. Enders, I think. Ball's kicked hurriedly back towards in the favour of the Terrigal Panthers, but no one home.
And of course,
rest control of the ball.
Of course, Telgor Avoca tried, of course, too strong, but our Cardiff were just way too good.
And the Hawks, quick call
And because of that, Cardiff have a semi-final this weekend.
Centers the ball up. She's got Smith waiting there with nobody around. She's unattended. She's got time to assess everything, to work out where she's going to send the ball. She finds her teammate in Murray there.
So Murray, half forward.
And of course, Cardiff managed to quickly have a lot of kicks, as well as a lot of goals kicked.
Goal number 3.
She's been very lively in the forward line for Cardiff, and
as they finished in second spot, right into the last round.
Goes back, she sends it low, but I don't think that's been touched. And a goal registered for the Cardiff Hawks. That was a great goal. Martini.
Of course, the Hawks led 42-15. Of course, Cardiff managed to win the match 58-0, while Newcastle City defeated Warners Bay 110-0. Also, Singleton defeated Wyong Lakes 43-20, and Killarney Vale had the bye. Also, another result in the men's competition, Killarney Vale secured a win over Maitland. Despite going down to Telgor Avoca, Cardiff are still in the finals. And of course, despite losing 101-74, and of course, Newcastle City are also through to the finals, 100-35, after beating Warners Bay, and Singleton had the bye. In the Hunters NPL men's competition, and Lambton has annihilated Adamstown with a 9-0 victory. It was huge for the Jaffers, who were just too strong for Rosebud right throughout the game. Lambton later had an 8-0 lead before the Jaffers later added one more goal to secure a 9-0 victory. And of course, Lambton knew what to do right up in the final few minutes. A goal had to be scored by them. They played right next to McDonald Jones Stadium. Of course, Lambton knew what to do. 9-0. Meanwhile, in in the Women's Premier League, Newcastle Olympic managed to secure a 4-0 win over the Mid-Coast. It was fantastic for Newcastle, who of course managed to go through to the NPL Women's Finals. Because of that, it was just marvellous for Newcastle Olympic. And of course, the match was played up at Darling Street Oval on Saturday, and of course, it was played in the afternoon. The home side knew exactly what to do, and it was to score. Thankfully, nobody can stop Newcastle Olympic from scoring goal after goal after goal. Olympic knew exactly what to do. The Novocastrians ran with the ball. They had to stop their rivals from winning and scoring as they left their opponents scoreless. Then it was time for a kick. Three 0 and that's how the score certainly became.
Goal to Newcastle Olympic, completing a hat-trick for the day.
3-0 soon turned to 4-0. Then the game continued. As Olympic quickly secured a goal, 4-0.
Sophie Walmsley makes the score Newcastle Olympic 4, football with North Coast 0.
Then it soon changed to 5-0.
Goal to Newcastle Olympic, scored by number 13, Tori Johnson. We score Newcastle Olympic 5, football with North Coast 0.
Then, finally, it became 6-0 as Newcastle Olympic won the match. Returning to Newcastle Rugby League, and Cessnock eliminated Souths into one of the most dramatic deciders that occurred. It now means that Cessnock will face Central Newcastle next week.
You would reckon on last. And guess what? Sound the siren again. It's a bomb. Up they go. The bat down is handy. The pickup is even handier. And now Clune and Neville. And there may just be numbers here. Neville's going to stick it on the toe. Mendok's got work to do and gets it down. The pick up and put down is superb from Brent Mendyke. And Cessnock are back in front. Out to what would be the biggest lead of the game so far. Clune and Shaw. And Shaw is on the deck. And they're rolling through tackles here, the Goannas. Flung out to Clune, or at least it was meant for Clune. Went to Milicea. He grubbers for himself, Milicea. They weren't expecting that.
Cessnock continued onto their try-scoring defence and continued on to scoring. And of course, they knocked South Newcastle out at the finals.
It's there. It's there. Ernst feeds. Kuru picks up and Keelan swings across. Hamilton and straight away to Howard. And Howard's still going. There's a pass to the line.
Of course, South Newcastle thought they'd had it, but it was not enough to produce a victory.
Because Cessnock have survived Survival Sunday.
As Cessnock
They go through
move on to face Central to the last round of Hunter Rugby Union, and the Wanderers have secured a win over Nelson Bay. It was fantastic for the Wanderers, who were just too good for their rivals right throughout the match.
If you're putting your hand in your pocket and helping us out, we greatly appreciate it. So thanks to one and all. Exactly, mate. We're all still hanging about. This scoreline hasn't turned anyone off. Hopefully it hasn't, is it? We've had to dig the home side and they'll get the support from all the town. They'll have to have a fair dig here to keep me out again too, mate. I think big pressure in the scrum. Good scrum. Nell reaches in and fires it out to McDonald. McDonald throws it.
And of course, the Wanderers were just too strong.
And he strolls over untouched. Again, the local products that come back to haunt us, Kerry.
And of course, the Wanderers managed to defeat Nelson Bay 41-22, while Maitland are through to the Hunter Rugby Union finals for the first time since 2019, after defeating Southern Beaches with a 55-7 victory, while the Hamilton Hawks secured the biggest upset win by hammering Singleton 65-0, while both Mayweather Carlton and University had the bye. Return to Rugby League, and in the first week of the Group 21 semi-finals, and Greta Branston has secured a victory over Muswellbrook with a 28-24 victory. It was just fantastic for Muswellbrook. It was really good for Muswellbrook and Greta Branston. But of course, Greta Branston were just too good for their rivals right throughout the entire game. And of course, Greta Branston managed to score the match-winning try.
Get the ball out now, get it over halfway, get it down into the Greta Branston territory. Chad Hewson trying to do that from dummy half. He's 35 out from his own line. Ellis at dummy half. On to Chanel. Matudia is back on. He's 5 metres shy, centre field of halfway. 22 points to 20. Ellis out the back to Jacob Ellis. Jacob Ellis puts a downtown kick over. It goes straight to the hands of Ruben Andrews, who collects it on his own 10-metre line.
Ruben Andrews managed to run for Greta Branston, but was tackled.
23 metres out centre field from his own line. Gruner taking all day to get back there.
Thankfully, Greta Branston scored.
He got the speed. He gets around his stars. Gets around time. Goes to the 30, the 20, and he scored next to the upright. What a tool. Turn it up. What a game we've got here. What a game. We are playing good footy, Deco. Devastating for the Rams. And Gruder Branston goals. The game went back and forwards and back and forwards. The key play there was Adam Grew. He coughed it up in that play ball, but I really believe that he tried to unload it and it went backwards. It hit a Gruder Brankston player and it went forward. Then from there, it went backwards towards the Gruder Brankston line. Unfortunately, Jesse Rudder didn't see it that way. He called it a loose carry. You know, we can go over it and over it. The bottom line is 28 points to 24. Isaac probably playing out that.
Meanwhile, in the other semi-final, Scone defeated Denman with a huge 60-point victory.
Luke Clydesdale gives it on to Isaac Austin. He runs towards the uprights and he's put down 5 metres out. Very quick play the ball for the birthday boy. Now it goes out, crash ball. Who is it? Parker, over for a try. The crash ball I was looking for earlier. There it is. And that's another try. And the crowd, even the Scone crowd, have stopped really clapping to celebrate these tries. 46 points to 6.
Gary Richards out, finds Jack Bennell out the back to Jolly Harrison. Blakey Johnson pushes straight through the line.
Then Scone managed to run
No, he backs himself to score it, and he scores it there.
and win the game
68 points to
68-6.
remaining on the clock. And that is the mercy rule coming into play. They don't even get a chance to kick the goal. So
In the NSW's Jersey Flag Cup, and the Knights managed to go to the number 2 sports ground to defeat the Canberra Raiders 32-30. Up next, we have more of your local sport from northern New South Wales.
Into big business now, are we?
Nope. I'm quite happy with the small business I own, Louise.
Who are you banking with now, Bob?
Newcastle Permanent.
No, I mean your company banking.
Yeah, we're with the firm.
Didn't know they did business banking.
Well, I have done for quite some time now, Dad.
Oh, good move. That's mine. Thank you.
Your business is in good hands with Newcastle Permanent.
They're our Looney Society.
Wake up in the morning, gotta get because the Herald is the best way to start your day.
Welcome back. And it's a Central Coast Rugby League. And Eleanor has secured a 38-8 victory over Wyong in the first week of the finals, while Tukley has beaten Terrigal with a 44-18 win. The Central Coast Rugby Union and Avoca Beach has secured a win over the Red Devils, while the Lakes have secured a victory over their rivals. And of course, the Terrigal Trojans have secured a victory over Warnervale. South Grafton is through to the preliminary final of Group 2 Rugby League after defeating the Grafton Ghosts with a huge victory. It was incredible for South Grafton, who were just too strong for their rivals over the weekend. Meanwhile, in the other semi-final, the Illawarra Valley Axemen are through to the grand final after defeating Wagulga with a huge 60-0 victory.
Gets it on the toe. O'Connor there. Picatal is there as well, and he's going to score. The Axemen go back to back, pretty much off their kick-off, and they will rack up that 60 points now, you would think.
The Group 3 Rugby League and Foster Tuncurry and Wingham were forced to share the points, 30-all, while the Old Bar Beach Pirates secured a 26-18 win over the Port Macquarie Sharks. In other games, the Port City Breakers secured a 62-18 win over the Taree City Bulls. Also, the Macleay Valley Mustangs secured a 38-18 win over the Wauchope Blues. Meanwhile, in a catch-up of a round 9 game that occurred on Tuesday, the Port City Breakers secured a victory. The Port City Breakers and the Old Bar Pirates managed to secure a draw 22-all against each other. Toronto 10 of the AFL North Coast and Port Macquarie has secured a win over Grafton, while the Coffs Breakers defeated Sawtell Tormina in the last round of the competition. There was difference for the women in the last round. The match between Port Macquarie and Grafton was called off, but the match between Coffs and Sawtell went on, as Coffs defeated Sawtell with a 56-14 win. To the last round of round 17 of Group 4 Rugby League, and Moree has defeated North Tamworth, while West Creek defeated Boggabri. And also, Dungawin and Manila were forced to withdraw their match. Also, Katingal Mumbai secured a victory over Narrabri. Returning to Rugby League, and it's often a nail-biter when the Inverell Hawks and Moree Boomerangs face off. But in the Group 19 preliminary final, there was finally a winner.
Coming out firing on their home ground, Dylan Lewis put first points on the board for Inverell. The Boomerangs were hard-hitting, but Tyler Connors broke through for another try for the Hawks. Selling a successful dummy, Rick Roberts claimed 4 points for the Boomerangs. Picking up a grubber kick, Tyrrell Smith evened the score, and Tristan Duncan Ward put Moree in the lead. But it wasn't held for long, with the Hawks taking advantage of a penalty. Outpacing Boomerang's defence, Tyler Connors edged out the 1-point lead. And history soon repeated itself, with Connors taking his second try. Busting over for another, Inverell looked to be in control. Ill discipline cost Moree, and added further to Inverell's point tally. Unable to be tackled, Richard Simpson struck back for Moree. Scoring in quick succession, the Boomerangs began to heap pressure onto the home side, and a try from Peter Duncan put the possibility of a win in their sights. A conversion levelled the score with just 10 minutes remaining. The match quickly became a deadlock, with both teams unable to score. But in the last minute, Moree finally took the lead, a drop goal giving the Boomerangs a 31-30 victory. They'll now play in the Group 19 Grand Final against the Narwhal Eels next Sunday.
To the last round of the AFL Northwest competition, and Tamworth has secured a win over Gunnedah, with the Kangaroos securing a win, while the Tamworth Swans defeated Moree. And of course, Inverell managed to defeat the New England Nomads. While in the women, Gunnedah edged out Tamworth 90 points to 9. And of course, Inverell were forced to call off their match against the New England Nomads. Yesterday's Northern Rivers Regional Rugby League Elimination Semi-Final brought a nail-biting performance from both Byron Bay and Evans Head, but it was the Bombers who just scraped through to the preliminary final against Moolumba.
The Red Devils had fans on their side at home, but it was Evans Head who got the ball rolling with this try from Zachariah Roberts. and the Red Devils' Dylan Montgomery responded. Proving to be a physical match, the Bombers' Michael Roberts powered through to the try line. The Bombers were on a roll, this show-stopping try from Trevor Bolt. The visitors leading 20-6 at half-time, but Byron put up a fight. This crowd-pleasing try from Daniel Gibson. And another from Akariva Durusolo. And one more from Rex Johnson, sending the crowd wild. Then a successful conversion from Todd Carney evened up the scoreboard to 20-all. Before Carney executed this one-pointer field goal. But the Bombers weren't going down without a fight, kicking not one but 2 field goals in the final few minutes. It was a nail-biting finish. The underdogs, Evans Head, are now through to the preliminary finals next week against Murwillumbah, while Byron Bay are knocked out of the competition. Meanwhile, Bilambil are straight through to the grand final after a 14-10 win over Murwillumbah.
The Wollumbar Austinville Pioneers are celebrating after taking out the minor premiership following their stellar performance against Casuarina Beach in the final of Coast Rugby Union. The teams staying focused on the end goal, hoping to dominate when they go up against Bangalore this Saturday.
They're minor premiers in the Far North Coast Rugby Union competition this year, but the Pioneers are no strangers to finals footy.
So we got in the finals last year, we didn't play because COVID shut us short. The year before that we lost to Lennox.
Captain coach Bill Johnston says if they'd had the chance to battle it out in 2021, it would have been their 10th consecutive grand final appearance, 6 of which they came out on top. This week, they're up against the Bangalore Rebels, and Johnston says the top 4 teams are tight.
It's been a pretty tough competition for them and us during the year. Like we won one, they've won one. They've got a good team. They had a loss to Ballon on the weekend, but they had a few guys out.
Their family day at Lyle Park on the weekend went off without a hitch, with some juniors making their mark too.
12 out of the 15 players who ran on the field for first grade all play juniors with us, so it's a really good thing for our Wollongbar club.
Dominating on Saturday against Casuarina Beach in a 68-24 landslide, Johnston says there were some standout players.
Hamish Mould, Ben Damon, Bodie Smith. I could name everyone because realistically, we're a team that's been together for a long time.
The Pioneers are hopeful they'll win this weekend's match, catapulting them into the grand final on September 10 after getting pipped at the post last year. Ballina will play Lennox Head this weekend, but Johnston admits in 2022 it could be anyone's game.
Yeah, well, a lot of amazing finals in local sport coming up, and of course that's it for now, and of course from all of us here, good night.